The rain hammered down on Fifth Avenue as Marcus Chen stepped out of Metropolitan Hospital, his shoulders sagging under the weight of another failed consultation. 6 months. 6 months since Elena had been confined to that wheelchair, and the doctors kept saying the same thing: permanent spinal damage, no hope, learn to accept it. Mr. Chen. A voice cut through the downpour. Marcus turned. A homeless boy, maybe 15, stood beneath the hospital awning. His clothes hung in tatters, but his eyes burned with urgency. Your wife can walk again, the boy said. Marcus froze. His briefcase slipped from his fingers, clattering against the wet pavement. What did you say? Elena Chen. Room 347. She can walk again. They're lying to you. Anger flared in Marcus's chest. You're sick. Preying on desperate people for money. Get away from me. He turned, but the boy grabbed his sleeve. I was there. That night at the Grandview Hotel. I saw everything. Marcus's blood turned cold. The Grandview. The night that destroyed everything. His company's annual gala, celebrating their biggest merger. Elena, radiant in her silver dress, had stepped outside for air. Then the screams came: free men. White supremacists, the police said later, though they seemed reluctant to use those words. They surrounded Elena, shouting slurs, pushing her. When Marcus ran outside, she was already on the ground, her head bleeding against the concrete steps. The man vanished into the night. The police investigation went nowhere. Witnesses suddenly couldn't remember faces. Security footage mysteriously corrupted. Marcus hired private investigators, offered rewards, but every lead evaporated. His wealth, his power, his connections meant nothing against the wall of silence. Now this boy stood before him, rain streaming down his dark face, claiming he knew something. Talk, Marcus said. Now. The boy glanced around nervously. Not here. They're watching. The parking garage, level 3, in 10 minutes. Come along, or I disappear forever. Before Marcus could respond, the boy melted into the crowded street. Marcus's hands shook as he drove to level 3. This was insane. Probably a setup, a robbery. But something in the boy's eyes, that desperate conviction, pulled him forward. The boy emerged from behind a concrete pillar. My name's Eli. I sleep in the alley behind the Grandview sometimes. That night, I saw those men push your wife. But that's not what paralyzed her. Then what did? She hit her head, yeah, but she was conscious. Talking. The ambulance came, and they loaded her up. But I saw something weird. One of the paramedics, he kept looking back at those men. Like they knew each other. And when I followed the ambulance here, I snuck in. I heard Dr. Sullivan talking to someone on the phone. He said, the Chen woman is secure. Proceeding with Protocol 7. Marcus felt his world tilt. Protocol 7. What does that mean? I don't know. But I've been watching. Dr. Sullivan's her primary neurologist, right? He meets with the same 3 men from that night. Every Tuesday, at a diner on Lexington. I took pictures. Eli pulled out a cracked smartphone, swiping through grainy images. Marcus's heart hammered. There. Dr. Richard Sullivan, Elena's trusted physician, sitting across from men whose faces Marcus had memorized from that terrible night. Why are you telling me this? Marcus whispered. Eli's jaw tightened. Because my mom died in this hospital 2 years ago. She came in with a broken arm. Simple fracture. Dr. Sullivan treated her. She never walked out. He said complications, infection, but I never believed it. She was healthy. Strong. And she was black, like me, like your wife. I think he's been doing this for years. Rage and hope collided in Marcus's chest. We need proof. Medical records. Treatment history. The records room is on the 4th floor. I've mapped the security patterns. Guards change shift at 11 p.m. We have 20 minutes. You want me to break into a hospital. I want you to save your wife. And get justice for my mom. For everyone he's hurt. Marcus looked at this boy, this homeless kid who'd spent 2 years piecing together a conspiracy while living in alleyways. Shame washed over him. He'd been so focused on his grief, he'd stopped fighting. 11 p.m., Marcus said. I'll be there. The hospital's 4th floor was dim for night. Marcus, wearing borrowed scrubs from his car, a souvenir from a charity board position, moved silently beside Eli. The boy navigated like a ghost, knowing every camera blind spot, every squeaky floor tile. The records room lock clicked open under Eli's skilled hands. Learned from watching YouTube videos at the library, he whispered. Inside, filing cabinets lined the walls. Marcus went straight to the C section, pulling Elena's thick file. His hands trembled as he read. Initial diagnosis, minor concussion, no spinal involvement. Recommended treatment, observation and release. But then, a second entry, in Dr. Sullivan's handwriting, patient showing signs of spinal trauma. Beginning aggressive steroid treatment. Marcus's medical knowledge was limited, but he knew steroids. He flipped faster. Page after page of medications, each one stronger than necessary. And then he found it, a prescription for neurotoxin B, a drug used in extreme cases, but administered in dosages 3 times higher than standard. Week after week, poisoning her system, creating the paralysis that shouldn't exist. Oh God, Marcus breathed. He did this deliberately. He's been paralyzing her. Look at this. Eli held up another file. Sarah Washington. Treated by Dr. Sullivan for minor back pain. Became paralyzed. Died 6 months later from complications. Another file. Another black patient. Same pattern. How many? Marcus whispered. I count 11 over the past 5 years. All black. All started with minor issues. All ended up paralyzed or dead. The door burst open. 2 security guards filled the doorway, and behind them, Dr. Sullivan, his face twisted with rage. Mr. Chen. Breaking and entering. How unfortunate. Sullivan's voice dripped false sympathy. And you brought that little rat who's been skulking around my hospital. Marcus stepped in front of Eli. You've been poisoning my wife. Poisoning patients. Why? Sullivan's mask slipped, revealing something cold and hateful beneath. Why? Because people like you, like her, like that boy, you don't belong in positions of power. You don't belong in luxury hospital rooms, demanding the best care. My grandfather built this hospital when America was pure. I'm simply correcting modern mistakes. You're insane, Marcus said. I'm a patriot. And now, you contaminated a crime scene. Guards, detain them. Mr. Chen has clearly suffered a mental breakdown from his wife's condition. The boy is a trespasser. We'll handle this internally. The guards moved forward. Marcus's mind raced. 2 exits, both blocked. Files clutched in his hands, but no way to escape with them. Then Eli moved. The bull was fast, darting under one guard's arm, slamming into the fire alarm panel. Sirens shrieked through the building. Run! Eli screamed. Marcus bolted through the confusion, files tucked under his arm. Behind him, shots and pounding footsteps. He burst through a stairwell door, taking steps 3 at a time. Eli right behind him. They emerged on the ground floor into chaos. Patients and staff evacuating, firefighters arriving. Marcus grabbed a passing police officer. I need Detective Sarah Rodriguez. Hate Crimes Division. Now. I have evidence of attempted murder, medical malpractice, and a racist conspiracy. The officer looked skeptical until Marcus opened the first file. The prescriptions, the dosages, the pattern. Get your supervisor. This is bigger than you think. 3 hours later, Metropolitan Hospital blazed with police lights. Detective Rodriguez, a sharp-eyed woman with no patience for bureaucracy, had torn through Marcus's evidence with growing fury. FBI agents arrived, pulling more files, interviewing staff. Dr. Sullivan sat in handcuffs, his carefully constructed world collapsing. His connections to the White Nation Brigade, a domestic terror group, unraveled under questioning. The three men from the Grandview. His recruits. They targeted Elena specifically, knowing Sullivan would finish what they started, and there were others. Hospital administrators who looked the other way. Nurses who'd been too afraid to speak up. A network of hate hiding behind white coats and medical degrees. Marcus stood in Elena's room as a new team of doctors examined her, genuine compassion in their eyes. Dr. Patel, a neurologist from Johns Hopkins, reviewed the files and shook her head in disgust. The damage isn't permanent. The drugs suppressed her neural pathways, but with proper treatment, physical therapy, she should regain function. It'll take time, but she will walk again. Elena, fully briefed on everything, reached for Marcus's hand. Tears streamed down both their faces. How did you figure it out? She whispered. Marcus looked at Eli, standing awkwardly by the door, unsure if he belonged in this moment. I had help. From someone braver than I ever was. 3 months later, Marcus stood in the physical therapy room, holding his breath. Elena gripped the parallel bars, determination etched on her face. Dr. Patel nodded encouragement. Elena lifted her right foot. Then her left. 1 step. 2. 3. Marcus caught her as her strength gave out, both of them laughing and crying. I told you, she whispered. I told you we'd dance again. Across the room, Eli sat in his new prep school uniform, acceptance letter to a medical program in his backpack. The Marcus and Elena Chen Foundation for Medical Justice had become his home, his purpose. He'd testify at Sullivan's trial next month, representing the 11 victims whose voices had been silenced. Justice moved slow, but it moved. Dr. Sullivan faced life in prison. The hospital implemented new oversight protocols, bias training, independent review boards. Change, real change, painful and necessary. Marcus held his wife close, feeling her heartbeat, her warmth, her strength. In the darkest moment, hope had arrived in tattered clothes and a fierce heart. Sometimes salvation came from the most unexpected places. Sometimes it came from a boy who refused to let the world forget his mother, and sometimes, just sometimes, the good guys won.